Sorry it took so long to get out. Three-part live, everybody. There's also information pertaining to Riley Strain. I'll decide if I want to mention that commentary during this live stream. But anywho, three-part live. Arrests made in every topic during this discussion. We're going to start off with Birmingham, Alabama. Thank you all so much for joining me. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $Big Angie, 129 Cash App, stickers and chats, always welcome during the live stream. There was a kidnapping pertaining to a Nikita Davis, African-American female, suspect African-American. She has been found deceased inside of her vehicle. The suspect has a criminal record involving kidnapping of another woman in 2018. You're going to hear that information. I'm not going to go through the press conference from the other day because it's won't be any point because now the suspect has been identified. Cedric Robertson is the suspect arrested in the murder, kidnapping of Nikita Davis. First topic of the morning. Thank you for joining me.
Well, we're continuing to follow that breaking news this midday. Birmingham police named a suspect in the disappearance of Nikita Davidson. A warrant for first-degree kidnapping issued for Cedric Robertson. Investigators believe he may be in Birmingham's Powderly or Jones Valley neighborhoods. Davidson disappeared earlier this week. Court records show that Robertson and Davidson are in a relationship. Police say her kidnapping is tied to a wreck near Elmwood Cemetery. Through those court documents, we also learned that a witness claims to have seen Robertson shoot a woman, put her in the trunk of her car, and then drive away. Police say that Robertson left a cell phone in his car at the scene. We've looked into Cedric Robertson's past to learn that he pleaded guilty to kidnapping a different woman in 2018. He's been serving a 3-year community correction sentence since August. At this point, police believe Nikita Davidson is in extreme danger. If you know where either of these two people may be, contact police. You can remain anonymous. We'll continue to keep you updated throughout the day on the WBTM 13 app.
All right, so update. Nikita Davidson. Sorry, I put Davis in the title. Davidson, Davidson. She has been found deceased in her vehicle. Okay? Mr. Robertson, Cedric Robertson, is the suspect. He has been apprehended. Okay? I'm going to give you a little bit of bio on this information. Thank you so much for joining me. This is a 3-part live. WVTM News is the source, uploaded 21 hours ago. Just after 3 p.m. Friday, U.S. Marshals and the Birmingham Police Department located a burgundy vehicle in a wooded dead-end area off the 2800 block of 18 Place Southwest Lane, according to the Birmingham Police Department. When the vehicle was opened, officers found the body of 40-year-old Nikita Davidson, the subject of an urgent kidnapping investigation in Birmingham. Earlier that day, the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office issued a warrant for the arrest of 37-year-old Cedric Dwayne Robertson on the charge of first-degree kidnapping in connection to Davidson's disappearance. So right now, it's kidnapping, everyone. Law enforcement officials confirmed to WVTM 13 that he was taken into custody in the 2100 block of Northland Avenue, Southwest, around 6:40 p.m. So now let's ask ourselves, how far is the 2100 block of Northland to the location of where her van was found? So let me go back up to get that location in case somebody in the chat is from Alabama and they can tell us how far they are from each other. So her car was 2800 block of 18th Place. Okay, 2800 block of 18th Place, Southwest, because they got a lot of numbers in this address, 2800 block. Okay, and then he was found in the 2100 block of Northland. So I'm assuming those, this area might be near one another, because you got 2100 block, where he was found, and then 2800 block where she was found. Robertson is believed to have taken Davidson from the scene of a car crash Thursday near Elmwood Cemetery, and this was about 2 a.m. in the morning. When officers arrived at the scene, they found evidence of a possible, gosh, it keeps jumping off, sorry about that, assault shooting, but no one was present. Court documents revealed that a witness of the crash claims to have seen Robertson shoot a woman before putting her into the trunk of her own car and driving away. Robertson reportedly left his cell phone behind at the scene. Wow. Further court documents show that Robertson pleaded guilty to kidnapping a different woman. In 2018, he has been serving a 3-year community corrections sentence since August. So, community corrections means what? Probation? Has to be probation because he was free to kill this lady. If indeed charges are going to be brought against him for murder. I'm assuming that's what the DA is working on now. But he has been identified in her kidnapping. Wow, wow, wow. But she has been found deceased, everyone. There was a reddish color, burgundy color van parked on the side of the road. And I was watching it yesterday. It was live. They had the street roped off, and I knew something was bad had happened because I saw the yellow tape. And then I also saw the tow truck. So I didn't know exactly what was going on, but I assumed it was something not good. So how long have these two been dating? Nakita and Cedric. Do they have children together? We also hear she has children. One of the children were asking for the mother. When is my mommy coming home? Sadly, this mother will not be returning home. How many children does she have? And does she have any children with Mr. Cedric? And how long were they dating? Did they live together? Had he been following her? Because my understanding, this is a 2-car crash that happened at 2 in the morning. So that would lead me to believe that he was following her, looking for her, or had found her. I'm assuming he rammed his car into her car. This is just my speculation. Because only one car was found at the scene. So you have a 2-car crash. One car is missing, which is her car. He left his car behind, from my understanding. He also left his cell phone behind. So he was hurriedly doing whatever he was doing to this young lady. Obviously, blood residue was left behind. Eyewitness says they saw him shoot her and put her into the car. Let me make sure I'm repeating that correctly, because I'm not going to play all of the content. But I have it uploaded to my community board. Let's see here. 37-year-old Cedric Dwayne Robertson. Our victim is 41 years of age. Court documents reveal that a witness of the crash claims to have seen Robertson shoot a woman before putting her into the trunk of her own car and driving away. So if he was in his car, he crashed in her car, went in, got her out of her car, or shot her in the car, I don't know how it went, then put her in the trunk of her van, then that means he drove away with her in the van. Then where did he go? On foot, because he left his car behind. It's a very wicked story. Shoot somebody in the AM, what, assuming nobody saw you? Well, I'm sure it was warm in Birmingham. People were outside, you know, maybe talking, laughing, drinking, I don't know. Saw you shoot this lady, Cedric Robertson. You didn't think nobody saw you shoot her? Then you left in her van with her, and she's obviously bleeding. And then you obviously parked her vehicle on the side of the road of a dead-end street, and then you got out on foot and went where? So now let's talk to the person who hid him out, because you had to have known what was going on, because it would have been all over the news down there in Alabama. You will probably be arrested as well. Let me say that again. Unless Cedric has his own apartment or home, whomever hid him out, you'll be arrested for aiding a fugitive after the fact. WVCM 13 News is the source of this information, everybody. And this was uploaded yesterday at 2:09 p.m. I tried to find the latest information pertaining to Nikita. So far, I hadn't gotten anything. I was hoping they would have had something on the news of last night. I'm going to go back in one more time and see if I can find something here. We'll be bringing you another update pertaining to O.J. Simpson, to bring you the latest pertaining to services. They will be on Tuesday, and he will be cremated. So I'll bring you another live pertaining to that information. Yeah, all they have right now is to search for him, which is over with, because the sergeant gave a update to the news last night that he was in custody. But so far, I don't see anything. Everything is about just a search. All right, everybody. Davidson is no longer alive. Kidnapped victim, now homicide victim. Boyfriend, Cedric Robertson, has been apprehended. He also has a charge from 2018 for kidnapping another female. Will we hear from that female? Will she give us information pertaining to what happened to her and her relationship with Cedric Robertson? It's a very sad story. Let's get down to Kansas and Oklahoma, and then I will bring you the third subject matter pertaining to Mr. Maxwell out of Wisconsin. Lord have mercy. And Court TV also has an update pertaining to Dottie Robinson, who is the female of this disgusting person. Knoxville man must serve 26 years in prison for child sex crimes. Latest update. I'll bring all that to you here shortly. Raleigh Strain. Oh, more nonsense with the Raleigh Strain story. He said, she said, now the guy's recanting his version. This is why I said this before in my live stream. You cannot believe anything in this story pertaining to seeing him, talking to him, because this is what happened before with someone who said they had a shirt on. It was his shirt. And then next thing you know, he's floating up in the shirt. Now the guy has recanted his story. They went looking for the guy, found the guy, everybody, homeless guy. Police has talked to him, and now he's recanting his story. Is it because he doesn't want to talk to the police? He doesn't want to have to go to court? I don't know where this is going. But now he's recanted his story now after talking to the police. More nonsense. 4 arrests made in the case of missing Kansas moms. Thank you for joining me. This is subject number 2. Brief intermission. 3-part live, everybody. 3-part live. Sorry about my Menendez story yesterday. I'll get to it.
Good morning, Hannah. Sure to be an emotional Sunday service here at First Christian Church in Hugoton. This is where the husband of Jillian Kelly is the lead pastor. The entire community now is grieving following 2 weeks of hope that Kelly and Veronica Butler would be found safe. Well, the 4 under arrest for first-degree murder and other felony charges, 54-year-old Tiffany Adams, her boyfriend, Tad Cullum, and Cole and Cora Twombly. The Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigations is not revealing details about these suspects' alleged crimes
or what happened. But a custody fight may be linked to it all. Tiffany Adams is the grandmother of the 2 children Butler was on her way to see on March 30th.
Let's take a good look at this lady. 54 years of age. Well, she's 1 year older, 1 year older than the queen. And I'll be damned. She looks old for 54. You know, most people look kind of young in their 50s and 60s these days. We've got all these great products you can use, plastic surgery, so on and so forth, taking care of one's health, not smoking, not using drugs, not imbibing in alcohol. You can look younger and also stay stress-free. Stay well. 54 years of age, this is the woman who had custody of the children. And now she's in handcuffs, has been handcuffed, she and all her cohorts. The guy is her boyfriend. Interesting. Very interesting. So now you got to ask yourself, Tiffany Adams, she's got a T-I-F-A-N-Y without the extra F. Tiffany, was it worth it? Unaliving these people, these 2 women, because you wanted custody of these children, and naturally there's been a lot of rumors, rhetorics, gossip pertaining to who was behind the crime of the missing women, or if there was a crime. We now know it was a crime. The women have not been located. Repeat, the women have not been located as me going live. But 4 people have been arrested. They've gone to different addresses, extensive law enforcement to make sure there would be no clapback in apprehending the 4. What led to the 4? What led to the warrant served at the addresses for all of these 4 people? The other 2 people, why did you go along with the crime? That question was asked on News Nation. How many people were involved in the crime? How did it happen? And I am still questioning. Did they follow them on the highway? Did they all jump out gang style, gangland style at this abandoned station, which makes no sense? I don't know why a judge would agree to have these people meet at an abandoned gas station on the side of the highway. When you watch reports of this gas station, there's nothing there, nothing. No movement, no nothing. When you look at the area by drone, there's nothing coming or going either direction. Just desolate land. Perfect place for a kidnapping, murder, crime. Why would this woman agree to pick up her children? I ask all questions because I would have never agreed for that to be my meetup. You always meet up in a public place, especially when you're dealing with custody issues, transference of children. You never meet in a desolate place. Also, it is said that it is not far. I think some school to this location of the gas station. So I don't understand. Why would you agree to meet up here? Who signed off on this place? Because now you have to stand account for what has happened to these people. Because it was the perfect setup to unalive 2 people or 1 person. And you didn't have to kill this lady. Let me make that clear. What was the point? You had to have known they would look at you, ma'am, Tiffany Adams. You have custody of the child, and the woman was going to court in 2 weeks to seek about full custody. Your son is in rehab. Let's ask that question. Why is a judge granting this lady custody at the time? Why didn't you give custody to the mother? So now I have to question what was really going on between the woman and the man, the father of the children and the mother. I had no plans to talk about this subject because this case was not on my itinerary, but I wanted to bring the updates since there has been an arrest, but I'm very confused at the dynamics of this case. There's also been new information out about the son saying his mother was threatening, dangerous, blah, blah, blah. Well, if you felt like that, then why would you want this woman to have custody of your children? Why wouldn't you go to the courts to say, hey, I don't think my mother should have custody of my children. She's dangerous. She threatened me. She coerced me to say this, to say that. All this is BS to me. I don't even know if that's even truth or not, because we're talking about somebody who's used drugs. So then we have to ask ourselves, is he in his right frame of mind that he's giving this information? When did he give this information? There are too many questions in this case, but the one thing I know in my spirit, I doubt that these women are alive, because you're talking about 2 weeks. What would be the point in doing what? Hiding them out? Well, when would you plan on letting them go free? Or you what? Holding them hostage to make her sign over documents to give you full custody? Are these women going to surface alive? Possibly not.
Adams had bitterly fought against more visitation. A custody hearing was set for next week when Butler was expected to seek full custody. Kelly was among 4 court-appointed supervisors for Butler's visitations. They never made it to the usual pickup point at an abandoned gas station in Texas County, Oklahoma. Well, that's where our News Nation crew captured this exclusive footage of law enforcement closing in on the suspects to execute the 4 arrest warrants in both Texas and neighboring Cimarron County. We spotted more than 20 police and SWAT vehicles at one point, following them to various locations outside the Twombly's property. We heard an officer on a loudspeaker announcing, "We have a warrant for your arrest." All officers appeared heavily armed and prepared for a gunfight in case of resistance. They also seemed wary of all who approached, drawing guns to turn people back, including us. Tiffany Adams and the others are now behind bars at the Texas County Jail. They also face charges of kidnapping and conspiracy to commit murder, indicating they allegedly plotted the killings. OSBI is not providing details on what led to the suspect arrests or their alleged roles in what happened. Now, the agency is also not revealing yet whether they've located or recovered the women's remains. But Hannah, definitely a tragic ending that many had feared.
Yeah, I know you've been on top of this story, Nancy Lou. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching. Go to...
All right, everybody. Conspiracy to commit murder. 1 second. Kidnapping and conspiracy to commit murder. So we have the mugshots released, going into this database to get the latest information. 11 hours, 52 minutes ago. Let's go to Fox News to get the latest information. Thank you all so much for joining me. Very terrible situation. There are 4 suspects. Let you focus on those photographs while I read you this latest information. See what they have here. Booking photos have been released of the 4 people arrested in connection with the disappearance of 2 Kansas women who were last seen driving through Oklahoma Panhandle. The Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation announced that on Saturday, Tad Burt Cullum, 43, Tiffany Michelle Adams, 54, that's the grandmother of the children, the biological grandmother of the children that were in this custody battle. She's 54. Cole Earl Twombly, 50, and Cora Twombly, 44, were taken into custody. All 4 were booked into the Texas County Jail on 2 counts of first-degree murder. So it is murder. First-degree murder, 2 counts of kidnapping, and 1 count of conspiracy to commit murder in the first degree, OSBI said in a press release. Veronica Butler, 27, and Jillian Kelly, 39, were last seen on March 30th, heading to pick up children before their car was found abandoned near the Oklahoma-Kansas border with foul play suspected, police said. Butler and Kelly have still not been located, OSBI. Wow, wow, wow. What a travesty. A missing persons advisory from the Texas County Sheriff's Office says that Butler has several tattoos, a Chinese symbol on her left forearm. Oh, sorry about that. I'll repeat that. Miss Butler has several tattoos, a Chinese symbol on her left forearm, a sunflower on her left shoulder, and that Jillian has a butterfly tattoo on her left forearm. The alert described Butler as being 5 feet 4 inches tall with red hair and green eyes, last seen wearing a blue shirt, short sleeve shirt and denim shorts. Okay, so it must have been warm there. Kelly has brown hair and blue eyes. This is the state worker who was with her. She was last seen wearing a long sleeve shirt, blue jeans, and a tan or beige shoes. OSBI is still investigating the case along with assistance from the FBI and other local agencies. OSBI Public Information Manager Hunter McKee told Fox News Digital on Monday that it's becoming more and more challenging to find the women alive as the days mount with no signs of their whereabouts. Well, I got a feeling that somebody's going to talk if they don't already have information to the location of the women or have found the women. They may be, if they have found the women, naturally they will be waiting on family members to come in to identify the women if they did find them. This is a terrible, terrible situation unfolding out west in our Midwest. And as you hear the law officials say, it's just challenging when you're talking about 2 lives and then you're talking about the time span of the women being missing. Let's get a closer photograph of this heathen of grandmother who looks like an old lady. No disrespect to anybody older. But anywho, going to give you a close-up of the mugshot. Thank you for joining me, everybody. Welcome to the Vault XL. That is the thing that is suspected of taking the life of these 2 women. "54 years of age. Was it worth it, Miss Tiffany? The unaliving of 2 people? Obviously, blood was at the scene. So who's talking? Because somebody's going to talk, because that's the rule of the game. The first to holler is the first to get the plea. Number 1, when did the plot go into motion? Number 2, who came up with the idea? First, who came up with the idea? Number 2, when did the plot go into motion? How did all these people decide to get together to take the lives of this woman and the worker? You were willing to kill 1 person, so you got 2 for 2 on this journey. You'll probably face the death penalty if you do not have the death penalty in that state, Oklahoma. And while I'm searching, I'll go ahead and pull that up as well. Thank you all so much for joining me. Yes, gator trash. Straight gator trash. Everybody up there is probably under the age of 60 years of age. And look at how bad they look. Let's see what Oklahoma has pertaining to the death penalty. 54. She's a wrangly 54, I must admit. Lord have mercy. Thank you for joining me on this early live for Sunday. I usually don't do true crime on Sunday, but these were updates. I wanted to hurry up and get the information out, because I have topics that I'm covering at the moment. Well. You 4 are lucky. Capital punishment is a legal penalty in the U.S. state of Oklahoma. The state has executed the 2nd largest number of convicts in the United States after Texas since re-legalization following Gregg versus Georgia, 1976. Conservative estimates place the average cost of an Oklahoma death penalty case at approximately $161,000, even before considering the cost of incarceration after conviction. Non-capital cases cost $51,000 per case, on average, 3.3 times less than the death penalty cases. This will possibly be a capital case because you're going to have all these charges of plotting probably stalking, kidnapping, transferring. If she was still on another state line when she was kidnapped, she and the state worker, all that depends on it being a capital case, especially when you're talking about taking people from state to state for death and premeditation. It's already premeditation now. Was this on the Kansas state line? If it was, all four of you all are doomed, as you should be, because there was no need to take the life of this woman, Miss Butler, and the state worker. That's absolutely horrendous. And let me talk about the state, because this is something I didn't, as I said, I had no plans to discuss this case, but when I saw the update today, I wanted to bring everyone the information, because some people who follow my content also follow this story. I want you all to imagine for just a second the other three people who were candidates to go to Oklahoma with this lady, Miss Butler. Is everyone listening to me? Is everyone listening to what the Queen is saying? I want you to imagine what the other three workers are thinking at this very moment. The moment they found out they were missing, number one. The moment they heard the rumors about the custody case. The moment that it was revealed that there was blood, but as Banfield said, you don't want to jump the gun, to say what they did, didn't do. But now a day later, it's coming out: conspiracy, murder, kidnapping. One would use deduction, the women are not alive. Now imagine you are the worker who did not go on this journey. 4 people were recommended for this position to travel with this lady to pick up her children. And this woman was chosen to go. Let me mention her names. I don't want to disrespect the family by not saying her name. Excuse me. Hold on one second, everybody. This is just, oh dear God, this is just unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Oh, you can't make any sense out of this. Hold on one second. So I don't want to leave her name out, because everything's, the story is about both women. Because it doesn't matter the reasoning for the motive, you're still talking about 2 lives. Jillian Kelly, 39. This is Miss Butler, the mother, believed to be gone, fooling with the wrong kind of people, wrong man, wrong grandmother. This is the tragedy that befalls people hooking up with the wrong people. This is Miss Gillian. I believe her husband's a pastor. Now imagine the people who were chosen to go on this trip. And they chose Gillian for whatever reason. Just imagine the 3 people who have to know they were in the running to go on this journey and they were not chosen. That would have to be a terrible feeling to have inside, knowing you were also chosen to go on this trip and you would not have been returning from the trip. Because it would be very rare to try to escape 4 heathens that are wishing harm on you. You would plead and plead and plead for what? What did the lady say to the 4 people? Why are you doing this to me? Did the state worker say, we can work this out? She can give you custody. Please don't hurt us. Give them custody. We want to live. Or did they already say to themselves, we're going here to kill her and whoever else is there? Because you can plead with a person, but it doesn't mean anything if they're not willing to say, okay, I'll let you live if. Could this have been avoided if they said to Ms. Butler, we don't want to have to do this, but we want these kids. So sign papers giving me custody. Or she thought, I ain't worried about custody no more with this lady. Going to end it all, be done with it. The state is saying premeditation. So that would lead us to believe there was no wranglings. There was no bartering with Miss Butler. Miss Adams was done. The sad part of the story is that the son is in rehab allegedly, so he would be considered allegedly scot-free, but that doesn't mean anything to the queen because the queen knows people. I hope everybody's following where I'm getting ready to go with this, because I assess everything when I hear it. That's why I don't go off of rumors and rhetorics and gossip, because that is not what helps a case. You got to have some facts. You got to have something recorded. You got to have something in ink. And rarely do you get anything in ink because people don't write down, their every thought. See, when you listen to News Nation, Banfield will say, well, he was in rehab, so what? What's your point? See, I listen to everything that's being said, and I'm going to spin you a tale that ain't nobody talking about. How about the son plotted this with his mother, and he has now turned on his mother to try to vacate his role in the unaliving of Miss Butler and the worker? Checkmate. You all better pay attention. That shit about him being in rehab is the perfect cover-up. I'll get my mother to do my dirty work and then lie and say she coerced me, she's mean to me, she's threatening, she's violent, so the state and the workers can say, oh yeah, all the evidence is gonna lead to her and Pookie, Ray Ray, Bubba, and then he's in rehab, he's scot-free and clear, and then he can get out, and then he can go before the judge and get his kids. You all better wake up and pay attention. Stay woke. Did the son plot the murders with his mother? More than likely, he does not have a cell phone in rehab. So what you have to ask yourself, how many times did his mother visit him in rehab? Did they talk about the unaliving of Miss Butler? Because what will be interesting is if we find out the son is also involved. Because let's do a little deduction. One, why did the grandmother have the children in the first place when the son's in rehab? So wouldn't the natural thing be to contact the mother to say, well, ma'am, we need to have a hearing because the biological father is in rehab and we need to see about you getting custody. How did it go? How long has he been in custody? Did he plot the death of Miss Butler with his mother? Stay woke. Because what's going to be interesting if his going into rehab is close proximity to the mother getting custody of the children. So you have to ask all those questions. When did he go into rehab? When did he give custody to the mother, or was it just physical custody and it never went to court? And then the mother found out that he's in rehab. The mother also found out, okay, his mother has two children. And then she decided to go to the court, to say, hey, he's in rehab. The children are with his mother. I want my kids. I have every right to get my kids because the father is in rehab. Now you got to go back into the belly of the beast and ask the ultimate question: how did this woman lose custody of her children? See, you have to pay attention to the details, because I think this is a story that has more bullshit in it. And it's not to say that a woman is better than a man as far as raising children. But a lot of children are raised by women in single mother households. So what you have to ask yourself is the obvious question, because this is the jump off to why we're here today. Why is this woman not having custody of her own kids? And I'm sure many people have asked that question, because I'm questioning it myself. Why did Miss Butler not have custody of her kids? What was going on in her life for her not to have custody? Now, when I saw a picture of the young man, I believe it was yesterday, he looks like a child. So I'm utterly confused at what I'm viewing. When I saw the photo the other day, yesterday, whenever it was, I said, what the hell's going on here? This doesn't even look like this doesn't even look like an adult. Well, what is he doing with children? That's just my opinion. So you got to ask yourself, how long did the two date? Was it a tumultuous relationship, violent relationship, or they just didn't get along? How did this woman lose custody of her children? Will we find out that she has a sordid past, any dealings with neglect, abuse, drug issues, alcohol issues? Because those are usually issues that lead to you not having custody of your children, or you decided you didn't want your children. So what happened with Miss Butler and her kids? Number one, when did she lose custody? How did she lose custody? I do believe there was some mentioning about the father. I could have sworn I heard something about him being incarcerated or something. There's more to the story. There's way more to the story than just what we're hearing right now. People are rumoring about the custody issues. I knew there was more to it when I heard the woman didn't have custody of her kids. Because there's something way off here. Because you have to go back to the beginning. And the beginning starts with the couple. So right now I'm in my search engine, everybody. Hold on. Who was the person that leaked the information about the blood near the car? I'd like to know. Who leaked that information? Somebody handling the case. News Nation previously reported that a small amount of blood was found inside the vehicle, but sources now say they were also separate puddles outside of the vehicle. So that's what I was wondering when I heard the information, because naturally Banfield was saying you don't want to rush to judgment according to what a source has said to them or whomever. So I asked that question. Well, you will know if both were shot, because two were in the car. 9 times out of 10, both sat in the front and passenger seat. If you have blood in the front seat driver, front seat passenger, you use deduction. They were shot in the car. Number 2, if blood is outside either side, passenger door front, driver door front, then they bled coming out of the car. If it's leaving the seat, then they were shot in the car and exited out the car, pulled out of the car, shot, dragged out of the car. Will they reveal the state of the car? I'm trying to get information on this guy because there's information I heard, a picture I saw of him, and I'm just trying to get a little information more about him. Thank you all so much for joining me. Let's go to my next crazy case. Once again, for arrest in the case of the 2 missing Kansas women. Nikita Davidson has been found deceased inside of her van in Birmingham, Alabama. The suspect, Cedric Robertson, her boyfriend, has been arrested in that case of Nikita Davidson. Third case, we're going to Wisconsin. Thank you all so much for joining me. What a hot mess. News Nation is the source. Man charged with killing, dismembering date. So now we're going to get information what? That they're on a date. How did they meet? Already knew each other. Internet. Any nefarious business? Swapping of monies? Where is this case going? Thank you for joining me. Woo, lordy, lordy, lordy. What a mess, what a mess.
Anderson appeared in court yesterday where prosecutors say they found blood in his home along with a, quote, sex dungeon. His bond is set at $5 million. I'm joined now by Steve Spingola, retired Milwaukee police detective and investigator on the Oxygen Channel's cold case. He worked extensively on the Jeffrey Dahmer investigation, which also happened in Milwaukee. Welcome to the program, Steve. I got to ask you, this is the same city. This is grisly. There's a sex dungeon. Does this feel a little like the Dahmer case?
First of all, thanks for having me. It does a little, but, you know, when you take a look at the difference between Dahmer and Anderson, you know, Dahmer was a lot more cunning. Anderson here, there's probably a history of mental illness. So you take a look, there's a treasure trove of forensic evidence that's left at his house and on video cameras and with witnesses. It's a little bit different than with Dahmer when, you got to remember back in 1991, we didn't have any of that. But, you know, there's always those connections, and people are still trying to link Dahmer to other crimes. One of those being Adam Walsh. But, you know, Anderson here, he's just, I don't know, he is not quite as, I guess, charming and as intelligent as you would have expected him to be if he was a serial killer.
Well, I'll tell you, the violent past that we've tracked down of this guy is pretty overwhelming. In 2014, he had a disorderly conduct. He attacked his mom's fiance and stole a car and fled. In 2015, a domestic violence. While living with his grandparents, he smashed glass. He punched a hole in the wall when they suggested that he address his mental health. In 2019, he admitted to punching a man who tried to break up a fight between Anderson and a woman. This is the kind of guy, you know, who should be on people's radar. And shockingly, Sunday was a criminal justice student. Are you surprised that maybe she didn't see red flags?
I teach criminal justice, and yes, I am. Usually there's situational awareness here, but, you know, she's a young girl. This older guy's interested in her. He's a bartender. That tells me a little bit about his personality. He's got that gift of gab. And wherever they crossed their paths, she was obviously smitten with him, goes on this date. And let's face it, she's the victim. There's one bad guy. I don't like it when we blame the victim, but, you know, you wonder what went on that night. Now she winds up over at his house and eventually dismembered.
Yeah, and who knows if it's him. This is an allegation at this point. It's looking pretty strong, though, the evidence. Listen, thank you for all of this. We'll continue to watch this case. It's so distressing. But Steve Spingola, it's good to have you on. Thank you for this.
Thank you very much.
All right. Let's go back.
Girl, this older guy's interested in her. He's a bartender. That tells me a little bit about his
bartender.
He's got that gift of gab.
How did Mr. Maxwell Anderson meet the victim? Decent looking white guy right here in this photograph. Had shorter hair at this time whenever they took that picture.
And wherever they crossed their paths, she was obviously smitten with him, goes on this date. And let's face it, she's the victim. There's one bad guy. I don't like it when we blame the victim, but you wonder what went on that night and how she
went on a date. Well. Let's do a little research. One day after prosecutors charged a 33-year-old Milwaukee man with killing Sade Robinson and dismembering her body, her family and friends were back out searching Milwaukee County for her remains. The Milwaukee County Sheriff said investigators have yet to recover all of Robinson's remains in a press conference Friday, spurring family, friends, strangers in the community to come together and conduct their own search. I think everybody's just overwhelmed, Robinson's cousin told WISN 12 News Saturday. It's just tiring because we're not getting anywhere, but our family needs peace and we need closure, so I don't want to stop. A group of about 20 people are searching places mentioned in a criminal complaint of Robinson's suspected killer, Maxwell Anderson, who was accused of scattering her body parts across Milwaukee County. The search party spent most of Saturday looking into Warnemont Park. People WISN 12 News spoke to said they came out to help with the search to try to bring peace to Robinson's family. It was really hard terrain, and you kind of have to be a madman to do it. Well, I felt compelled to do that. I owed it to her, said Robinson's friend, Josh S. The pair met at Pizza Shuttle where Robinson worked. She was gorgeous, and her smile could just brighten anyone's day, and she just had that personality where she could cheer you up, Josh said. The group is still learning how to organize a widespread search party, and they're doing it with little help. Oh, Lordy. I've never really been part of a search like this before, Josh said. People want to get on the water because obviously she might be in the water, and we don't have the resources, Robinson's cousin said Saturday. They're looking for boats or other tools to help search the water. The Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office tells WISN 12 News all known locations have been searched multiple times. They also said the search is ongoing and they continue to identify possible new locations through investigation. Robinson's family has started a GoFundMe to help with funeral expenses. WISN News is the source, everybody. Oh, Lordy. What a mess. Maxwell Anderson is the suspect. Caucasian male, has a violent past. Sade Robinson is 19 years of age. They met at Pizza Shuttle where she worked. So did they meet there originally or they met there for the date? I'd like to try to get more information if I could, because I'm kind of not really sure. What's the truth? Because naturally, every article about a story will have different content. So her DNA matched a severed leg, found discarded. Oh, Jesus. Let's see if somebody has some more information pertaining to this young lady. So currently people are out searching for her, the remains. That's going to be very disturbing because it's one thing to be out looking for a whole body, but now you're talking about looking for body parts. So now you got to ask the question, how is she, how much of her has been dismembered? Not to be disrespectful, but that's going to be the key in trying to, oh Lord, search for this woman. Because if they cut off a leg, then more than likely he cut off an arm, so on and so forth. So then you got to ask yourself if the head, neck is attached to the torso. Is the foot going to be attached to a leg? As I said, not to be disrespectful, but this is bad. He's been charged with first-degree intentional homicide, mutilation, and arson. And yes, her car was also set on fire. Forgot about that. That's why I said each article has something different. This is justice for Sade. Who the F would do something like this to my beautiful baby? She hurt nobody. She hurt nobody. Sheena Scarborough, Robinson's mother, said Friday morning. It was an outpour of emotion from the closest to Robinson. She's sweet and loving. She didn't deserve this, her cousin Kenyatta said. Imagine trying to bury your niece with no body for the service, Robinson's uncle, David Scarborough, said. A Milwaukee family experiencing the unimaginable as we learn the gruesome details behind Robinson's disappearance. I'm going to give you another picture of her. Condolences to the family. Condolences to the family of Nikita Davidson in Birmingham, and condolences also to the two women missing out of Kansas, Oklahoma. Thank you for joining me. This is a picture of the young lady whose severed leg was found. Oh, Lordy. Just bringing you an update, everybody. Finding the latest information. As I said, every article does not have the same information. Friends at work. I'm assuming that's where she works, at her job, with her friends, co-workers. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, everybody. Me and my family will never be okay, David Scarborough added. Police have only found Robinson's leg, foot, and the clothes she was wearing the last night she was seen on April 1st. We just want to bring her back home, Kenyatta said. Family and friends now taking it upon themselves to find Robinson. We are doing another search party to look for my cousin, Sade, Kenyatta said. So right now, just a leg, foot, and clothes have been found pertaining to the decedent. New court documents show Robinson's phone was pinged at several different locations the night and morning after her disappearance. Those locations include Anderson's home, Pleasant Valley Park, Kern Park, and Warnemont Park in Cudahy. So, Mr. Anderson, what the hell were you doing? Carrying her phone around while you dismembering body parts? The hell we talking about here? Oh, I'll carry her phone around while I'm throwing out her body parts. Because her phone pings at Mr. Anderson's home. Listen very carefully. Her phone pings at his house. So you would use deduction. He took her back to the house, assaulted her, did whatever he did to her, and then dismembered her, number one. Her phone also pings at Pleasant Valley Park, Kern Park, and Warnemont Park. That will lead me to believe these are possibly locations that he threw out belongings to the victim. Also, a blanket was found with her picture and her picture of her dog on a blanket. Because her dog had passed away and she had made a blanket with her dog's photograph on it. And her picture. That's how they were able to locate this lady. And they said the blanket was neatly placed out. So, Mr. Anderson, did you place that blanket out to give them clues that you had unalived this young lady, sending signals to the law enforcement? 1, 2, 3 parks, Pleasant Valley Park, Kern Park, Warnemont Park. Is that where we're going to find locations of this woman's remains and any possible belongings to the victim? Wow. This is bad. This is really, really bad. African-American female, white male. We need the public to come out and help. We need a lot more feet on the ground because we have a lot more ground to cover, Kenyatta pleaded. Friends and family spent Friday afternoon trudging through Kern Park in Milwaukee's River West neighborhood. We just need everybody to come out and help us. We're going to be searching all day, even tomorrow, until we get what we need, says Kenyatta. Justice for Sade. Justice will be served for my baby, Sheena Scarborough said. I need justice for Sade, David Scarborough echoed. That's the uncle, Mr. David. Lord have mercy. So how long have these two known each other? Sade and this guy, Maxwell Anderson. How long have they known each other? Okay? How long have they known each other? Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me. Thank you so much. How long have they known each other? Let me start off by saying this, because I get a lot of crazy comments pertaining to when you start talking about online dating, meeting people on the internet. And I don't know how these two met, because a date they could have met anywhere. So I don't know, and I'm not here to claim anywhere where they met. But I'm going to just start off by saying, let's say they met on the internet. And this would be for anybody, whether it's just these people here, the victim, suspect, or whomever. Let me just say hypothetical. For whomever meets on, hello everybody, thank you, on the internet. I want to make this clear to people, because a lot of people get very confused when you start talking about people on the internet. You've got to stop saying not to talk to people on the internet. Okay? Let me make this clear. You got to stop saying that, because it doesn't make any sense when you say that. Because people are people. The same people you're judging on the internet are the same people who walk by you every day on the bus, the train, your job, the grocery store, the gym, church. They are the same people. People you see every day in all those places, you don't know them. Some you know, some you're friends with, some you're related to. You do not know what people are doing behind closed doors in their home, on their free time, on the internet, so on and so forth. And that's what you need to understand about people. And nobody should have to keep saying that over and over again, explaining that to people. People are people. So we're in a digital age. So naturally, your friend, your father, your brother is on the internet. You don't know who he's talking to. You don't know who they're dating. You don't know who they like, and you don't know if they're having an affair, because you don't know people. You don't know what people are doing. So it won't matter if she met him at the pizza place, she met him across the street at Starbucks, or she met him online. People are people. If you're sick, you're sick. Now, number 2, sex dungeon. Well, he had that down there for a reason. So now you got to ask your question, has he assaulted any other women down in the dungeon? Will somebody come forward to say they made it out? He let them go. Number 2, has he harmed someone else down in the dungeon? Unalived someone down there? Will we find out he has unalived another woman, women, girls? How long has she known the suspect, Mr. Anderson? How long did they date? Did she agree to have sexual relations with him? What are we talking about here? Because that's the forethought when a person sets up a meeting and say, yeah, I'll do something with you. First thing a person will say, well, why kill him if they agreed to sex? Well, it's not always about the sex, naturally. It's about what I want to do to you and what I know you won't agree to. That's the purpose of the dungeon. You get it? Bondage, torture, God forbid, suffocation, because I know that you're not going to agree to that. Now, there are some women who will agree to being choked, strangled during sex. We hear you get this euphoric orgasm during sex, okay? And I'm just touching on different things, so don't get offended. This is just a broad conversation. The point is, there's going to be somebody who's not going to go along with that. So that's what the dungeon, the bondage, the handcuffing, the tying you up, because I know more than likely you don't want me to cut you. You don't want me to stab you while having sex, or stab you and then I watch, take pictures, video. Why would she want that? So that's where the bondage comes in. I tie you up because I know that what I want to do to you, you're not going to be in agreement with. And this could be deliberate, okay? He lured her there for torture, bondage, murder. What will they find on his phones, iPads, computers? Data, conversations, Google searches, because all that's going to be relevant in how he came to meet her, know her, their text messages, conversations. Did he videotape what he did to her? Number one. You would think a person who's a sadist and they've already got the room set up for bondage, torture, and unaliving a human, 9 times out of 10, he filmed it. 9 times out of 10, he filmed the torture, unaliving of this young lady. I won't doubt it. What's going to be even more baffling, besides he filmed it, is that he's also filmed him doing this to other women. So has Mr. Maxwell Anderson assaulted, bondage, torture, other women victims, filmed it, and God forbid, unalived them? We will wait to see. I'm sure there will be extensive data on his phones. As you heard here in this News Nation piece, he has a violent history with fighting and acting out. So they're mentioning something about a mental illness. Well, I'm going to say this. I don't want to hear anything about him having mental illness. We can use deduction. He has a damn mental problem because he's unalived a person and cut them up and threw their body parts out for the public to see, okay? To me, it doesn't matter. You have full well knowledge of what you're doing and that it's wrong when you decide to put all these things up in a room to torture a person and hold them hostage. That's number one. To plot it out, number two, to unalive them. Then to dismember the body. I believe he left a trail. Okay? Let's go there. He left a trail pertaining to this event. That's what led them to him. So he left a calling card, literally. Okay? You left a body out, a body part out. Somebody's already reported her missing. You left the blanket out with her picture on it with a dog on the same blanket. So now we know we're leading up, okay, to finding who this woman is. Then you left a trail in your own damn apartment, 2nd floor apartment, if I'm not mistaken. So you left a trail. So to me, you wanted to be caught. Why not clean the blood up? So obviously you didn't prepare this crime thoroughly. So now you got to ask, where did he dismember her at in the apartment? In the bathtub, the shower, open living room, what? How big is the apartment? 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom? Does he room with anybody? Whose apartment building is it? Who's the owner? Who owns the place? Now, what does the owner have to say? Because I'm sure you are just beyond shocked right now. And whoever else lived in the apartment building. I'm also going to go back here and see if I can find some more information pertaining to this, because I think they had some other information about him in this apartment. Somebody saw something or heard something. Hold on 1 second, everybody. Very scary information. And once again, prayers for Danishka Mieha, who was found murdered in Knoxville, Tennessee last week. Mr. Osborne and 3 other suspects have been arrested. LaTwan Osborne has been arrested in the kidnapping, rape, and murder of Danishka Mieha. She's 22 years of age. Right now, services have not been set for her. No funeral services have been set yet, but they did have a celebration of life the other day. Please check out my video on that said information. Thank you so much. Let's see what I can find on this creature here. I thought I had something on him. Chad Daybell trial currently going on. Will start again tomorrow. We're going to talk about Riley Strain too briefly. I don't have no way of putting that in my title because I don't have enough room up there. But I wanted to show something else pertaining to this guy. And I can't find anything. This is strange. Hold on. Because I thought I had something else on him. Let's see, News Nation probably has something on him. Okay. Got a lot more stuff going on with that Iranian mess as well. Iran attacks on Israel, for those who are keeping up with that information. All right, everybody, I'm still trying to find something. On this Milwaukee guy. I don't see anything. Hold on. Still looking. Well, I need a voice activator on this thing. Hope you all are well. So pretty here in the high 10. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Still owe you another 2 more videos to bring you. I'm so behind. If people would stay out the news, I could catch up on everything. It's always something going on. Milwaukee. Hold on. I can't get my bearings. I always try to keep everything in a neat little box for these stories. But it ain't working out. Okay, here goes some stuff. Here we go. I got a few things. Let's go back a couple days. This is our Milwaukee story, everybody. We're going to go back in time, see how they led.
No charges in the severed leg investigation. Today, we did learn more about the person in custody in that gruesome case. He is 33-year-old Maxwell Anderson. He's still being called a person of interest, and he is locked up on probable cause. Investigators have found 4 body parts across 3 different locations across Milwaukee. The one in Warnemont Park, the only one confirmed to be connected to Maxwell. During a search last night, officials say a search team found new discoveries in Warnemont Park. Still not exactly clear what they discovered. Meanwhile, search crews back out today looking for 19.
Let's go back. He's been arrested, so let me say that. But we're going back days to lead up to how he became arrested. So just going back. But he's in custody.
No charges in the severed leg investigation. Today, we did learn more about the person in custody in that gruesome case. He is 33-year-old Maxwell Anderson. He's still being called a person of interest, and he is locked up on probable cause. Investigators have found 4 body parts across 3 different locations across Milwaukee.
4 body parts. 30th and Lisbon. 31st and Galena, and then Warnermont Park. So 4 body parts. What are they? Number 1. 3 locations. Repeat. Warnermont Park, 31st and Galena, 30th and Lisbon. That means he was taking her body parts and throwing them out. 1 body part check, which I believe is the leg, confirms the DNA of this young lady.
The one in Warnermont Park, the only one confirmed to be connected to Maxwell. During a search last night, officials say a search team found new discoveries in Warnermont Park. Still not exactly clear what they discovered.
Hello, Canada.
Meanwhile, search crews back out today looking for 19-year-old Sade Robinson. She's been missing since April 1st. The next day, her car was found burned out near 30th and Lisbon, not far from where some of those human remains have.
So now we learn about the car. The car was burned out, and that's the Lisbon location. So he's stair-stepping things pertaining to the victim. Burnt out car, body parts. So we got body parts, we've got a burned out car, and then the leg found in Warnermont Park is a positive ID to the Black female. This is so horrible. So horrible. Why? Why do this to someone? Just why?
Have been found. Investigators are still not linking Sade's disappearance to Maxwell Anderson or to any of the human body parts. Megan Lee, though, digging into Maxwell's past. She joins us live from downtown with what you've been able to find out today. Megan?
Yeah, Steve, ever since we found out that Maxwell Anderson was a person of interest in the severed leg investigation, we've been digging in deeper, trying to find out who Anderson is. I mean, today I learned that he did work at Duke's on Water as well as some other bars in the area, and he used to frequent this area a lot. We also dug in.
He's also a bartender. So when did he last work? This is crazy to me. Just imagine knowing you drank at this Duke's on the Water or whatever. This is crazy. I'm not trying to laugh, but this is crazy to me. Oh, guess what I heard? What? Oh, you know Maxwell? Yeah. He just cut up some black lady. Huh? And he's your bartender. So imagine all the people who have gone to this restaurant, bar, and bought drinks, and he was your bartender, making your drinks. And little did you know, this creepy white guy, or this nice-looking white guy, however you perceive them, he's now cut up a black lady and thrown her body parts out in a park and burned her car out. There ain't no telling what he did to her before he unalived her. Stay woke. This is what I say, you don't know people. So it doesn't matter where you meet them. Online, underline, across the street, Starbucks. Thank you, Nubian. Thank you. Thank you, my friend from the UK. Love my Brits. This is disturbing. That's why I always want to make sure everybody understands. It doesn't matter where you meet people from, where you know them from. Oh, don't talk to nobody on the internet. You talk to people every time you go. Say hello, Facebook, Instagram. You don't know people. Doesn't matter where you meet them. You don't know the human mind. You don't know the human spirit. You see this every day, somebody speaking kindly of the guy that went, blew up something or shot up a school or shot up the workplace. Then you got somebody who has something bad to say about him. A woman decides to kill her husband, plot the death, do it for insurance money, whatever. Oh, she's a nice lady, I don't have any problems with her. Then you got somebody else, I didn't like her, she was this, she was that. Everybody has something nice to say about you. Everybody's gonna have something bad to say about you, okay? I see you got my eye twitch. You know I love the Brits. I've been on my British mysteries all day yesterday, and I will go into my community board to give you all some movie suggestions I have for this weekend, and then I will put out something tonight for you all to watch for this week. But I got some really fantastic suggestions. So, anywho, TMJ4 News is the source of this information. Milwaukee. Same place where Jeffrey Dahmer wreaked havoc on men, boys. many moons ago, 30 plus years ago, Jeffrey Dahmer put the United States on standstill. And I also want to bring you some more content this week pertaining to John Wayne Gacy. Just watched a very interesting documentary on Gacy on Tubi. Please check it out. Few people have been linked to Gacy who are unidentified, 8 victims. 2 have been identified to John Wayne Gacy. Amen. Bartender, nice looking white guy. Don't know if his preference is white women, black women, Asian, but anywho, he gets with this black girl. So then we got to ask that question. Did he like black women? Does he like black women? Or did he try to find just anybody he could experiment on? So this is what I'm saying. Is the black woman his first victim? Number 1. Did he choose her just because he wanted a victim to play funny games with? Or he didn't care? Black, white, Asian, don't matter.
Into his criminal history.
33-year-old Maxwell Anderson is in custody as a person of interest in the severed leg found in Cudahy April 2nd. However, this isn't his first run-in with the law. Court records show Anderson has a history of disorderly conduct and a 5-year.
And he used to frequent this area a lot. We also dug into his criminal history.
33-year-old Maxwell Anderson is in custody as a person of interest in the severed leg found in Cudahy April 2nd. However, this isn't his first run-in with the law. Court records show Anderson has a history of disorderly conduct. In a 5-year span from 2014 to 2019, the Milwaukee man pleaded guilty to 3 separate counts of disorderly conduct, as well as criminal damage to property and intimidating a witness. Most recently, Anderson was found guilty on a second offense OWI. Now Anderson is in Milwaukee County Sheriff's custody as the only known person of interest in the severed leg investigation. Prosecutors were in court Tuesday morning asking for an extension to hold Anderson longer without charges. This comes as investigators are waiting for test results. A court commissioner granted a prosecution request to extend a probable cause hold on Anderson for 72 more hours.
Anderson's attorney declined to make a comment. However, he said if Anderson is charged, he would reconsider. Steve?
Can I get any word on when we could see those charges?
I did hear from the district attorney's office today, and they said that no charging decisions would be made now. So I don't know if those decisions would be made this evening, but we can probably expect any word on charges in the coming days. Live in Milwaukee, Megan Lee, TMJ4 News.
72 hours gets us to Friday morning. Megan Lee, thank you.
Well, so far we've got him charged, okay? Let's see what we know. Let's go back. Thank you all so much.
And that breaking news just moments ago, prosecutors filed charges in the case of a severed leg found at a Cudahy park. Police arrested Maxwell Anderson last week, 2 days after someone discovered that severed leg at Warnemont Park on the shores of Lake Michigan. Just moments ago, prosecutors charged Anderson with first-degree intentional homicide, mutilation of a corpse, and arson, all in connection to the death of 19-year-old Sade Robinson, who was last seen in Milwaukee just the day before that leg discovery. Now, since the severed leg turned up in Cudahy, more body parts have been found all across Milwaukee County, including near 31st and Galena this past weekend. In that same area, police found a burned car near 30th and Lisbon on April 2nd. Family of 19-year-old Sade Robinson, who's been missing since April 1st, say that car was hers. We do expect to learn more at 10 o'clock this morning when the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office and the Milwaukee Police Department give an update on this investigation. We will carry that live for you right here on WISN 12 News and on the 12 News Facebook page. Right now, we do have a posted timeline of everything we know related to the severed leg case and Sade Robinson's disappearance. We've been following it since the very first day. You just click on this story in the 12 News app.
All right, there's our suspect. Caucasian male, Maxwell Anderson, has been charged with the homicide, murder of Sade Robinson. Family are out looking for her remains. They are sad that they will not be able to have a funeral for her because naturally they don't have all of the body parts. You know, some will, you know, weigh in on their opinion on if it would matter or not, if they want all of the remains found. Naturally, you won't be able to have an open casket, so it probably wouldn't matter. But, you know, it depends on the family, how they want to go forward with funeral services. They also have GoFundMe set up if you'd like to donate to the GoFundMe for this young lady. What happened with this man? He has a violent past. He likes to act out. He's also your local bartender. How scary is this? This is why I keep saying you don't know people. You don't know people. There's no such thing as knowing people. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Voting Sale. Happy Sunday. Have a wonderful week. Stay blessed. Bringing you breaking news. Please check my community page for said updates. I will put up a poll pertaining to all these stories if I can come up with a question pertaining to this information. I'll also, I might go through some of those polls before I check out here because I'm just an hour and 25 minutes in. But I need to bring you another O.J. Simpson update and Riley Strain. I might do that here in a couple of hours. Give me time to digest because I want to get all this information out before the week starts because naturally there's going to be a lot of breaking news pertaining to this case. My other case of the young lady in Birmingham. This is a 3-part live. This entire live is pertaining to 3 arrests. Milwaukee man, Caucasian, charged in the death of a Black woman. Kansas mom's missing. 4 arrested. The biological grandmother of the children arrested with her boyfriend and another white man and white woman. I don't know what the hell their problems are. And then we have the case in Birmingham, Black woman dating a guy. He unalived her, shot her, put her in the trunk of her van, parked her van on a dead end, Birmingham, Alabama. He took off, I guess, on foot. This story's wicked too, out of Alabama, okay? 2-car crash, shoots her, takes her out of the, I don't know how this went. I don't know if he moved her over, because if he shot her in her car, he had to move her over and then jumped in behind the driver's seat and then took her, put her in her trunk because he left his car at the scene. Let me start over, okay? Because this is just, ridiculous. Exactly, her car door had to been open. 2 cars crashed, 2 o'clock in the morning, the other day. Somehow, he's in her car. He had to move her out of the driver's seat in order to get her in the back of her own vehicle. He leaves his car at the scene. There is an eyewitness who sees all of this happening, him shooting her, putting her in the trunk. He leaves his car, he leaves his phone at the scene. He then takes off in her car, leaves her in the trunk of her car on a dead end. Then he goes out here and hides out. They finally find him. He has been apprehended. Cedric Robertson is in custody, but Nikita Davidson, 40, is no longer alive. So I have brought to you during this live stream the case of Maxwell Anderson being charged with murder, dismemberment of Sade. Nikita Davidson, no longer alive, murdered by Mr. Cedric Robertson in Birmingham, Alabama. And then the big topic of the hour, 2 Kansas women still missing, blood found at the scene allegedly, puddles in the seats, and 4 people have been arrested in that crime. Biological grandmother Tiffany Adams and 3 other individuals have been arrested. in the murders of Jillian, the state worker, and Miss Butler, the biological mother of the children that Miss Adams had custody of. Most of you have been hearing the rumors that Miss Adams' son is in rehab and that she had custody. I've asked all those questions at the beginning of this live stream. How he lost custody, which I'm assuming because of drugs. His mother got the kids. How did she get custody? Did she go through the legal process to get custody, or he just gave them to her because he, went off to rehab? How long has he been in rehab? Number one, did he go willingly? See, these are the questions you have to ask. When did he go to rehab? Did he go willingly or mandated by the court? Did the grandmother go to court legally to get custody of the kids when he went to rehab? See, I'm not hearing anything about that. When was the mother notified that he was in rehab and that his mother had the children? Okay? Is he also a part of this plot to unalive the women? Because how perfect would it be? You're in rehab. The mother was supposed to go to court here in another week or so to get custody of the children. Both of you living in different states. Stay woke now. And you just so happen to be in rehab right before this court appointment. So I'm starting to wonder, was all this orchestrated even with rehab? I don't know, because I have to get information, because I didn't follow this story, and everything I was hearing was just gossip. So that's why I didn't cover this story. Because as soon as I start hearing the he said and the she said, I get disinterested. Because I got enough of that with Sebastian and other cases that I talk about, and I really didn't want to touch this story, because once I started hearing all this gossip about the grandmother and custody, I already knew where that was going, and I knew it was just going to be a bunch of he said, she said stuff. And like they say, you got to have some proof of everything, because it's easy to assume, the grandmother did it because she had custody, but then you had people talking about human trafficking and the place where, it was out in the middle of the desert, on and on and on. But anywho, the grandmother has been arrested. So I'm sure a lot of people feel like, okay, I had it right. The grandmother was behind it. But what I'm saying is, I need verification of when the son went into rehab. Okay? Because the women have been missing 2 weeks. So I need to know when he went into rehab. I need to know if it was mandated by a judge or he went on his own. That's going to be very prevalent to this case, because it will be interesting to find out that this was all orchestrated, even with the rehab. Okay? Now, I'm not here to say he plotted with his mother, but I'm curious if he did. So that's why I need a date of when he went into rehab. Because if he went into rehab recently, then I might, in my right mind, say, well, who's to say he didn't plot this out? I'll go into rehab, Mom. You take the kids. That'll throw me out the loop. But then a person would still think the grandmother or whomever did it, because people were thinking that anyway. So I'm just wondering. My mind's just, chopping up every possible scenario. But as I said earlier during the live, there are allegations that the guy is saying ugly things about his mother, that she was mean and violent and threatening and blah, blah, blah. Don't know if any of that is truth or not, because I don't know this guy. I just know he's in rehab, allegedly. And my thing is, you got to verify who all these people are. You got to verify who he is, what type of person he is, how he lost custody. Did he go to court to give his mother custody, sign a document, or he just handed the kids to her physically? Because there's a difference. There's a difference between the judge saying, okay, you're going to rehab, who are you giving custody to? Or I'll make the decision to give custody. See, you're not hearing any of that. Because what people are going to be asking, if you're paying attention, why would the grandmother get custody of the children when they have a whole mother? So was the mother notified? When was she notified? See, that's why I'm saying this rehab is very important, because that might tie in a bigger conspiracy that the son is also involved in the unaliving of the woman, Ms. Butler and the state worker? Will they show proof that the son, the biological father of the children, also plotted the death of his ex? As I said, I saw a picture of him the other day. He looks very young. I just thought, they must got the wrong person, but this is like a kid up here. So I don't know what's going on. When did he go to rehab? What was the agreement with the mother? Legal document, legal rendering by a judge, no judge, what? Is all this in close proximity to right now? Are we talking about all this shit went down like a month ago? Because if so, it ain't good. And then you got to ask, where are the children? Somebody says, I think that they're in good hands or whatever, safe. That means nothing to me because I don't know where the kids are. And what's safe? Another foster home? Just saying. Now imagine finding out your grandmother is behind the death of your mother. Let's talk about that, and then I'm going to check out of here. Imagine finding out, if these children are old enough to decipher what murder is, that your grandmother has been arrested for unaliving your mother. So when was the last time Ms. Butler saw her children? When was the last time she physically saw her children, spent the weekend or day or whatever with her children? What was her custody agreement with the grandmother? Did she talk to the children regularly? Did she video chat with the children regularly? And why would a judge also agree to have her meet whomever with the children in the middle of nowhere? This is the most ridiculous thing I have ever seen in my life. And the judge needs to be reprimanded. The judge, the state workers, Oklahoma, whoever agreed to this arrangement, they need their asses beat. Because why in the hell would you allow people to meet? I don't care if they're in the same state. I'm not going to have people meet at an abandoned gas station. This is dumb, 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 dumb. This is why this crime took place. Because there's nobody there to see anything. There are no eyewitnesses to nothing. And Miss Tiffany, Miss Dumbass Tiffany, dumbass grandma, you had to have known that you would be suspect number one. And then you took Peter, Paul, Dick, Mary with you. That's how stupid you are. You are going to be a suspect because they always work from the inside out. Meaning, Dodo Bird, that they're going to look at everybody related to Miss Butler. Her boyfriend, her husband, her relatives, co-workers, whoever she had children with, duh, and then you, because you have custody of her children. She's also going to court in what, another week or so about the children, trying to get the children from you. And you didn't think that law officials would not be looking into you? And then you stupidly plotted this crime, and then you got all these other people to go along with you. So you're talking about 3 more dodo birds. And I have talked about this numerous times in my live stream. What would make a person go along with murder? This is why I always tell you, when you hear a story about a missing person, don't think it's just the one person that murdered them. It's the only person that knows what happened to them. Because this case is a prime example. You're talking about 4 heathens. Now, what if we find out there's more than 4? That's where the son would come in, the one that's in rehab. That would be 5. Because I got a sneaky suspicion he's in for this bullshit too. You see the complicity in cases of guilty knowledge of a homicide, plural. Lori Vallow Daybell, Mr. Daybell, her brother, I think his wife knew. No telling who else knew, okay? Jody Hildebrand, Ruby Frankie, 2 people conspiring to torture children. Do you see what's going on? There's always somebody else that knows the plan. That is a part of the plan. And that is scarier because you're thinking of one person walking around, the boogeyman, okay? The creepy crawler. Now you have a cohorts, also plotting the murder, going along with the murder, concealing the death, accessory after the fact, such as the case here with Danishka Mieha, 22-year-old woman, beautiful, unalived by Mr. Osborne and 3 other suspects, 2 black males, and then his mother. She's an accessory after the fact. So this is scarier. Now I have to ask with Danishka here in Knoxville. Was she only raped by Mr. Osborne, or were these other 2 involved? Or he only got them involved to go what? Kick in the door and unalive her and shoot these other 2 people that's in the house that was shot. See, you have to pay attention to the details. Because that's that old myth. Oh, it's just the one suspect. Well, now you're seeing it's more than one. It's 1, it's 2, it's 3, it's 4, it's 5. And everybody's in cahoots with unaliving a human being. And that's what you have here in this case with the Kansas women. 4 people have been arrested. Grandmother, boyfriend, and another couple. And they also carry the same last name. So I don't know if they're married or brother and sister, but they have the same last name. All Caucasian people in the story, in case you're not familiar. This is jacked up. This is jacked up. Well, Danielle, that's why I'm saying I don't know all the details, but that's the whole point of a story. You don't know everything. This is why I always try to tell people about a story. You can assume 1,000 things, but I look at the bigger picture. Because to me, the picture is way bigger than the 2 women missing. The 4 people now arrested. I smelled bullshit as soon as I heard she was missing, and there were rumors of a custody issue. Because the one thing I'm not hearing anybody say before these people even got arrested, why did she not have custody of her children? None of you are asking that. Everything's about the grandmother. Oh, the grandmother did it. The grandmother did it. Okay, but I always tell you, you got to start at the beginning of the story. The story didn't start with the grandmother. The story started between she and the male. How long have they known each other? What was the problems? Married, engaged, lived together? Why is she in this state? Why is he in that state? Okay? Meddlesome grandmother. He's on drugs. How long he's been on drugs? Did she ever use drugs? The mother. Nobody's asking those questions. And that's one cop says, and many say, you don't want to blame the victim, but you have to ask these questions because it's not, none of you are curious to why this woman don't have her own kids. Come on now. And I'm not here to say who did what and who didn't do what. But you know that a lot of children are raised by their mothers. Usually women have custody of their children. So that's the one thing I'm not hearing from anybody in all the videos being made about this story. And I haven't watched a lot of content, but I'm not even hearing it from the news. Why she didn't have custody of her children? Okay. Why did this woman not have custody? Because that should be something on everyone's minds. Why this woman did not have custody of her children? Why did he give the children to his mother? Naturally, he wouldn't want her to have custody. This is why I'm saying, for all I know, he's also involved, the son. And this bullshit about his mother being threatening, violent, means nothing. Because this could be a last-minute ploy to try to remove himself from what he already knew was about to happen. Yes, and I mentioned that neglect. So now we have to ask ourselves, and yes, It is not right for anybody to kill anyone. But you do need to try to figure out why these people would plot death against this woman. And I'm not saying people aren't crazy, because this is a crazy act. Let me make that clear. This is a vicious, crazy act. But is there more to the story about Miss Butler? Now, did the judge make a wrong decision by giving the son, this man, custody? Possibly so. But they only go on what they have at that moment. So what was brought into the court for the judge to say, okay, I'm going to give custody to this guy? So then you got to ask yourself, was he using drugs at the time? Was that ever brought up? If so, did they test him to make sure, okay, the children aren't going to a drug addict? So you got to ask all those questions, and we don't have the answers to none of that. You're just hearing a custody. But I know better. I didn't get the 53 by accident. There's more bullshit with this story. And you're going to find out. And now let's go back to why nobody wanted to talk about the story. Ding, ding, ding. See, nobody's talking about that. It's just, fear what? Why would strangers fear Oklahoma? That's why I tell you, nobody listens to nothing. And it's like, I chop up everything. I don't rush to judgment on nothing. I listen first. And I knew there was bullshit in the story, you see. Because the first thing I said to myself, why would I have fear about talking to the news about my friend or my coworker and I don't know anything? Okay? Think about it. Why would a stranger have fear in not talking about what happened? If you don't know the grandmother, you don't know that they're violent, you don't know anything about the baby daddy, what's wrong with you going to the news saying, I just want to say I feel bad about my friend and the worker, blah, blah, blah. Because that struck me strange. The people in Kansas didn't want to talk to the news. Reporters saying they were going up to different places. Nobody wanted to talk. And that's odd to me, because the one thing you have to tell yourself is the obvious. Okay, your mind may say, okay, well, they're missing. I better not say anything just in case the killers see me and come do something to me. But then you're talking about two different states. And why would the killer want to come over here and say something to you just because you said, oh yeah, she used to come here and buy coffee? I don't know what happened to her, but I hope they find her. I hope they find the workers. Are you all paying attention to what I'm saying? That stuck out to me as odd. The people in Kansas, in the small area where she lived, Miss Butler, the fact they didn't want to speak was bizarre to me, because I refuse to believe that everybody in Kansas knew what the hell was going on in Oklahoma with the grandmother, the son, and the kids. It's bizarre to me. That means you'd already have to be preconceived that they were dead. You see where I'm going with this? And one, why would you think that? The norm. Well, 2 women missing must be nefarious, must be homicide. There's more to this story. There's way more to this story, because people didn't want to talk in Kansas. One woman did come forward to speak, I believe, about Miss Butler or the other lady. You got to think about that. The state worker, her friends, associates, they don't know what's going on. Okay? So why would the people of the state worker, her friends and family, not want to talk? Now, we heard that law enforcement told anybody that knew the victims, or missing women, don't say anything, because maybe they already had a general idea, where the case was going. So I understand all of that. But what I'm saying is, you're talking about 2 separate women who allegedly are not friends. One's there as a parent and one's there in official capacity as a state worker. Their lives shouldn't be meshed. So I would find it strange still that somebody still wouldn't just want to say, well, I hope the women are found alive, blase, blase. Just don't nobody say nothing. Don't nobody talk. So these two women's lives shouldn't have been intersected to where on the flip side, the state workers' family members or friends couldn't just at least say, well, we hope she comes back soon. We hope we find both of them. We don't know what happened. We don't have any information. But I get it. Law enforcement didn't want anyone speaking. It's just a very baffling tale. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The woman that's a state worker, she shouldn't know anything about what's going on in her life and not. She probably has the case file, of course, but she wouldn't be sharing that with other people in Kansas and the husband or other people, so they wouldn't know anything about what's going on with this lady, unless the town is that small and people have been talking. So that's another theory. That this town is so small, they do know some things about Miss Butler. They have heard some things about Miss Butler, either positive or negative. Take your pick. People have formed an opinion about Miss Butler. See, you don't know. I'm just weighing all options. That is strange. Because when people are missing, whether the police tell you to do this or this or this, just like we're telling you, don't search. We got our own people searching. Well, if you care about the victim, missing person, you will say, well, I hear what you're saying, police officer, detective, but I'm going to search because it's my child, it's my mother, it's my sister. You see where I'm going? You can't tell me not to search, it's my family member. Same thing with, hey, I want the word out. My mom's missing, my sister's missing, my neighbor's missing. We care about them. So we want to put the word out. That's all I'm saying that I find strange. Because you're just showing photographs of the two women. Did you all already have an idea? You got your background, where they were going, so you already just honed in directly on Miss Adams, the grandmother. And I'm assuming that's possibly what happened. That once they knew where they were going, they immediately honed in on Miss Adams. So I'm assuming that's what has been transpiring the past 2 weeks. They were watching them, following them, which you heard that in the earlier commentary I played. Law enforcement was following them, watching them. They had a brigade of law enforcement to make sure there would not be any hanky-panky retaliation, because that's the point. If you're looking and following people and you got an idea that you got at least 4 suspects, I don't know that there's not more than 4 involved. I don't know that there won't be some other people that'll try to get involved if we serve the warrant. So that makes sense. I get that. You want to make sure you have enough people there in case somebody decides they don't want to go willingly. They want to pull a, Koresh movement to where everybody barricades themselves in with artillery. And you want to be prepared for that. God forbid there's other children around. Small children, underage children, and the people barricade themselves inside of a structure. So I see why they took a lot of law enforcement with them. That's my commentary, everybody. I will be back with an OJ update either today or tomorrow. Riley Strain, want to get that out there because there's new information. And I just want to say about the Riley Strain. Indeed, the information about the water in the lungs is suspect. We know that when you drown, you legally drown either by your own accident or somebody forced you underwater, that you should have water in your lungs. He didn't have any, allegedly. So that is suspect to his family. But I have said previously in my commentary pertaining to Mr. Strain that even with that information, the autopsies have said, allegedly, there are no wounds to the body. Now, naturally, he's been underwater for 2 weeks when he floated up. Okay? So, who am I to believe? That's where there's a problem. Who am I to believe and not believe? Now, can a medical examiner get information wrong? Exactly. But visibly, a medical examiner should be able to see if you got hung up on something, head injury, whether it be a gunshot, blunt trauma, visible wounds to the body, all that should be visible, no matter how the person sustained them. Either fallen, beat up, battered, hit, or tangled up under something under the water, such as, a metal object, whatever. If they say, we don't see any blunt trauma to the body, because it's not just his head that was examined. Everything should have been examined, from his top of his head to the bottom of his toe, top of his toe. If they say we didn't find anything, then you're going to have to rule that out. Okay, there's no blunt trauma to the body, to the face, to the head. Naturally, they shave parts of your head to, check for things. So you eliminate that. The only thing left is toxicology. That could say the man was given something and he fell out dead and then rolled into the water somehow. And you're still talking about a nice little drop, depending on where he would have fallen already dead. And that's where this is a problem. The information I read today says it's still open, which is strange because I assume National Police would be closing this case or had closed the case. So somebody has come forward to give information. But the gist of the story is, like I said before, I'm not betting on that. And so what's baffling about that is a homeless person has come forward. They have found the homeless person, but he, she, or whomever talked to law enforcement, and now they have recanted. This is why I said what I said. Why do you all keep wanting to talk to these homeless people? For what? It makes no sense. And it is not to be rude to them. Because yes, I do find it strange with the water in the lungs. All that's strange to me. Strange how he even got in the water in the first place, considering you're talking about the sidewalks up here and the rivers down here. But what is bizarre is believing somebody else has a version, and now they've recanted just after you have put out the word that you're looking for them. You want to talk to the person. You don't even really know if this is the person you think you're supposed to be talking to, because you're going by he said, she said once again. And that's what led us down that road with the shirt. And then the boy floats up in the shirt. So my thing is, why am I going to believe another version? That's just me. I'm not saying somebody don't have some information about him out there walking around and saw him. I don't know. All I'm saying is, after the incident with the shirt, and we learned that that wasn't true, why would you be so adamant to talk to these same group or type of people? And it's not to judge anybody homeless, but just saying you're going back down the rabbit hole when the rabbit hole was full of shit about the shirt. And now you have gone out to find this guy, this imaginary guy, who now has recanted, and you just went and found him. You all don't find that bizarre? Could this be somebody just wanting attention to be relevant? Because that's what I was thinking before, when they kept talking about this person. Okay? Just like the person who was down on the bank that heard a scuffle. But if it's dark and you're how many feet down on rocks that's slanted, which that's bizarre, how would you be able to look through the trees in the dark to see what was going on up there to say that was Riley Strain having a scuffle with somebody. This is why I keep saying nobody is paying attention to anything. Nobody is paying attention to the information. It's pitch black outside, and I'm down on the embankment. Rather, you don't even know exactly where the person allegedly was. They're yelling back saying, hey, you okay up there? Well, could they make it out that it was actually Riley Strain having a scuffle? Then now you can't even say who he was having the scuffle with, because how would you be able to see? Depending on how far you were down between trees, or if it was a clear embankment where you could look straight up and see people, or was it in the area where they had trees? See, you don't know. This is all a bunch of bull to me. And I hate to say this, but right now it just sounds like a bunch of bull. And I can honestly say that if the person now, and they're saying he has, so I can't say if, the person has recanted and they just found him. So why would you recant the story to the police, but then these people went and found you and you were spinning some web about him being under the bridge and not feeling well? It is a hot mess. That's my commentary, everybody. 3-part live. 4 people arrested in the murders of Miss Jillian and Miss Butler, the missing women out of Kansas. Miss Davidson out of Alabama, Birmingham, Alabama. Her suspect has been arrested, Mr. Cedric Robertson. She has been found deceased in a van. Miss Nikita Davidson, 40-year-old woman. Her boyfriend has been arrested in her murder. And then we have the case of Miss Sade Robinson, who has been a severed leg was found in a park, and other remains pertaining to her. All have not been identified, but one leg DNA testing leads to a Mr. Maxwell Anderson as the suspect. He's also been arrested. Caucasian male. Allegedly, they went on a date at the pizza place where she worked, or they met there. I don't know if it means met there or date there. When I get more information, I'll bring it to you, because I can't get a definitive answer thus far pertaining to that. But that young lady is believed to be deceased, and they are now searching for her remains, her family members. If you have any information, please contact the local police department in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That's all I got, everybody. Like, share, subscribe, drop your comments below this video. Please take the polls on my community page. And before I go, I did say that I wanted to go over those with you guys. There's probably 1,001 of them, but let's go over them right before I before I check out of here. I ain't got many folks visiting, but that's okay. It's a Sunday. It's a Sunday. Oh, Lord. Okay. Yeah, one guy's got a video up saying he dismembered her on their first date. Yeah, this is still bad. This is still bad. Well, wherever the date was or didn't, wherever, it's still ridiculous. Whether he just met her, didn't meet her, didn't know her long. I think he was just looking for a victim, anybody he could find. Anybody he could find. Because if it wasn't her, it was going to be somebody. And I truly believe that. But I did ask all the questions. Is he known to date black women? Has he dated other black women? Or was this just a crime of opportunity? Undeniable is one of my movie suggestions for this weekend, free on Tubi, very good documentary. Also, Bloodlines, one of my other movies for the weekend. And Our House, 3 movies, Our House. These are all British foreign movies. Our House, and they are in English. Our House, Undeniable, and Bloodlines, free on Tubi. Thank you. As everybody knows, Mr. O.J. Simpson has passed away. the age of 76. He would turn 76 this summer. Going to bring you another update pertaining to O.J. Simpson and his life legacy and the crimes he committed. All right, everybody, before I check out of here, I'm going to read you the polls pertaining to my page. What are y'all talking about? I'm here for COVID and all. What are you talking about? Oh, yeah, they're British. They're British mysteries. I like my British mysteries. They're really good. But they're all in English, so you don't have to worry about subtitles or anything like that. All right, everybody. Going to give you the results from the polls pertaining to O.J. Simpson and other topics, and then I'm out of here. Did O.J. Simpson unalive Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman? Yes, 86%. 10% no. 4% not sure. 2 comments. Oh, Lordy. I've always believed he did. I was 24ish and watched as much as I could back then. That's from Lumbee Queen. All right. I'm not going to be able to read these comments because it takes me out. I can't log back in. It takes me all the way back to the beginning, to the top of my community page. All updates are on my community page, all movie suggestions, and also I will be posting a new movie suggestion tonight for you all to watch. I'm also going to talk about the Bronco because I didn't mention that during the last 2 lives about OJ. I'm going to go back on everything pertaining to where the Bronco is and all that nonsense. And also I'm going to see if I can get some research on his memorabilia as well. Did he get all of the memorabilia back, or is somebody out there still owning all his memorabilia? Once again, prayers for Danishka Mieha, found murdered here in Knoxville, Tennessee last week. Suspects are behind bars. Morgan Wallen threw a chair off a bar building into the street in Nashville. He has since bonded out. Should he get jail or prison time? Jail, 1 year or less, 24%. Prison, more than 1 year, 10%. Probation, fines, community service, 46%. A and C, that would be jail of 1 year or less, and probation, fines, community service, 16%. B and C, that would be prison, more than a year, probation, fines, community service, 4%. So most of you believe he should just get probation, fines, and community service. Wow, can't believe that. Out of 50 votes. Yeah, you people are crazy. Somebody throws a chair off a building and you think they should only get probation? What did I say? You said not a lot here. What are you talking about, Nubian? Please help me understand. A person is on the top of a rooftop of a building and they throw a chair over and you think they should get just probation. So we need a victim in order to give him time in jail. Is that what you're saying? Okay, imagine had he hit somebody and it broke their head, their neck, decapitated them. Then what would you be saying? Oh, he should be arrested, he should be in jail. The fuck? 6-story building, he throws a fucking chair and you say he should get probation. Okay. Wow, wow, wow. I'm dead. Woo! This is a local story. Some young people vandalized an apartment building, 2 complexes under construction in Blount County. What should happen to the kids? Should their parents pay for the property damages? It's estimated at $100,000, okay? 30% of you said yes, the parents should pay. 3% said no pay. Kids remanded to juvenile until 21, 10%. Make the kids do the work in the apartment and also be in juvenile, 43%. If kids are 16, make them pay alongside their parents, 15%. So most of you at 43% believe the children should do the work and also be in juvenile at the same time. And then only 30% believe the parents should pay the damages of the property, the two properties. Wow, wow, wow. Should former inmates be made to pay for early release from prison? Okay? So imagine a person gets a 6-year sentence. This is in the state of Florida. And this can apply to any state, but this is going on now. You get a 6-year sentence, but you only do 3 years. You get out, and the state sends you a bill for the remaining 3 years. Should inmates be obligated to pay for the time they did not end up doing in the prison, if you understand what I'm saying? 39% of you said yes, they should have to pay. 51% of you said no. 10% of you not sure. Gypsy Rose, her marriage to Ryan, as most of you know, she's filed for divorce. Some of you say she's dating an ex out in public. We'll talk about that later too, the ex. Did she marry him just so later or soon after she could file for divorce and get money? 59% yes, 7% no, 34% not sure. Wow. Checking all my polls. That's a hot butter mess too. They've only been married for 2 years and now they are divorcing. So who asked for the divorce? Again, she asked from Ryan. Will he contest the divorce? Will she ask for alimony? Oh, that's one of my questions I asked. I don't see it up here, but hold on. So I guess I'll put that up there because I don't see it under here, under my questions. Got a lot on my community page. Whew, Lord mercy. If people would stay out the news, I wouldn't have to have all this junk up here. Well, I don't see it. Let me go back up. He needs therapy. Who are you talking about? Who needs therapy? I wouldn't have never gotten with her anyway, knowing I'm a school teacher. That was just a dumb idea. That's my opinion personally, because I won't doubt he'll end up getting fired. But teachers are in a union, so they would, fight to the death him being fired. But that was just a dumb mistake to marry somebody in prison and you know that you're a school teacher. That's just stupid. Very, very stupid. All right, please check out my updates. I got a lot on here about strip clubs in Arizona. Do you believe the versions from those guys? Ex-dancer has spoken out saying she worked at one of the clubs and she is a witness to them drugging men. It's just crazy. Well, I think that's all I got for my polls. All the rest will probably be pertaining to Sebastian, and that's a subject I really don't want to talk about because this is non-stop BS. Once again, 86% of you do believe O.J. Simpson unalive Nicole and Ron. Please check out my last 2 videos on O.J. Simpson. I will be back with an update pertaining to O.J. Simpson being cremated. The family had people sign a non-disclosure agreement in visiting him. And we're also going to talk about something else I had on my list pertaining to OJ, and I'll discuss it later. And this Riley Strain nonsense, this is out of control. Did you all hear about this semi truck? Some guy was upset that his license was suspended and he drove a semi truck into a public safety building in Texas. That is crazy to me. And also Scott Peterson could win a new trial. Could he win a new trial? We'll talk about that at a later date too. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. There's also a case I want to talk about too, about this traveling pastor. He and his wife have been arrested for child molestation. Seems like his pick were Hispanic children. Very diabolical story. And the queen is live. Yes, she is. Amen. All right, everybody. That's the live. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $McAngie129 Cash App, stickers and chats are always welcome during the live stream. Thank you for your continued support. Thank you for all my new subscribers. Thank you, Mr. AB. He shares my content a lot. Thank you very much. Hope you all are well. And I have not looked at anything about Sebastian Rogers because I didn't want to look at anything this weekend pertaining to a true crime. I tried my best not to look at anything, but I did see that Alabama story yesterday when they were at this crime scene, and that's why I brought that story today. But I didn't want to look at anything else pertaining to true crime. But the next updates will be pertaining to the Menendez brothers. I was supposed to have done that yesterday, but I'm in transition right now to packing up my stuff. So I decided to do a lot of donating out to a neighbor yesterday. So I just got distracted. So Menendez brothers, continue conversations about O.J. Simpson, and then naturally any other updates about what I've talked about during this live, because I'm sure I'll get an update on all these 3 stories this week. I'll bring them to you again. But the next live streams will be about O.J. Simpson and the Menendez brothers. I want to get the Menendez brothers out of the way because I've been promising that for about 2 weeks, and I keep getting behind on that. So I want to talk about that. I'll probably just wait to do OJ at the beginning of the week, and the next live stream will be pertaining to the Menendez brothers because I'm getting way behind on that. And I still want to do something else about Stephen Avery as well. Just a lot of crazy nonsense. But my Crime Vault video will be this week, God willing, John Wayne Gacy. We're going to go back in time. So we're going to have 2 Crime Vault videos. Menendez brothers and John Wayne Gacy. Too many. The format's supposed to be changing, but because of all this nonsense, I can't get out the other things I want to talk about, which have nothing to do with true crime, because I do not want to talk about true crime. I really want to talk about true crime anymore, but it's daunting. It's too much work, and I don't like what comes with talking about true crime. I don't like the things I'm seeing that I've noticed the past couple of years in talking about true crime. Just all the, like I said, it's nothing wrong with, hypothesizing about what you think happened in a crime, this and that. But a lot of people, they ride the donkey ride on gossip and what they hear in a story and what somebody else said, and they don't have all the facts. And then people sell that. And you've seen it with podcasters, YouTubers, the news. You can't sell stuff without a receipt. You can think what you want about a story, but it does not mean it's true. And that's what's the problem right now. It's the selling of stuff and then banking on that and not having any facts. And I've seen that just in somebody's commentary. I was in some woman's chat the other day listening to her talk about, I believe it was Sebastian, and she was talking about Katie's background in the Navy, and somebody told her video was clickbait. And really, in actuality, it was clickbait, because you can't say their items were found and you don't even mention what the items are. So that is clickbait. You may not like somebody saying that, but all in all, it is true. You can't put a title up of saying items are found in a video and then you live stream for over an hour, it don't matter if you live stream for 10 minutes. The point is, people are going to hit the video assuming that they're going to hear what was found. Okay? You saying, I heard or I saw pictures, videos of law enforcement being at the house last week. Well, it doesn't matter that law enforcement was there. That's their job. You don't know what they're doing there. Naturally, I would assume at this point, yes, it's a criminal investigation, so that's why they were there. But the point is, just because you see black trucks, black SUVs, black cars, you don't know what they're looking for, and you don't know what they found. And if they found something, I would assume they would gladly reveal it to the public or not. That would be up to TBI, sheriff, CIA, if they want to tell us what they found. But the point is, there's been no breaking news of anything found at the Proudfoot's home or in that location. So when you put that up in a video saying items found, it is clickbait. So why did you get offended? And then she jumps the subject from that to, oh, they found something because they were there, blah, 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 to, oh, if you don't want to hear information about her past and to what she learned in the Navy and her title of what she did when she was in the Navy. Okay, well, that's two separate subjects. So now you're glazing over the fact that somebody's called you out, that you didn't relay what was found at the house because you don't fucking know. And two, you want to jump on to talk about what Katie did in the Navy, what her specialty was. Well, her specialty and what she learned in the Navy versus what she did for a living, that has nothing to do with the title of your video, because they're not one and the same, and they're not the same. So this is why I'm saying people just do and say anything to make videos. They have no proof of nothing. We have seen this time and time again with that bullshit with the Idaho 4, that black lady accusing that university professor as being a suspect. That was foul and rank. And that white lady took that black girl to court, and she had every right to. So that's the shit I'm talking about, where there's no respect for the victims. There's no respect for the story. You can think what you want, but when you claim it that it's true, you have to be very careful with that. Because let me tell you, these people can go out here and pick any TikToker or YouTuber and take your ass to court and say, well, I won't sue you for defamation because you're saying I did this, I did that. Just like I can give an opinion about the Proudfoots or anybody else in a story and say, oh yeah, I think they did it, or I know they did it. And the next thing you know, somebody can slap me with a lawsuit when I don't have proof they did it. It can look like they did it, but I don't have proof. So you do have to be careful in saying that, okay? And definitely when you're making a video about content, you better make sure your ass got a damn receipt before saying something was found at the house or something was found in a car, and then you don't even produce that information during a live stream. Yeah, your ass is foul and you're wrong for that. And it is clickbait and it is wrong. And yeah, they'll flag your shit. People will flag the video because that's what people love to do. They'll flag it because they don't like you. They'll flag it because you're talking about the content. They'll flag it because you're spreading misinformation and lies. And that's something you're bringing on yourself. So if you don't have proof to anything pertaining to a missing person, a murder case, a trial, whatever it is you're talking about, don't put that information out there. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. So that's why, this is what I don't care about with true crime. Just the constant barrage of, making up stuff, lying, putting stuff out there that's not truth, not factual, people banking on what they heard from this network to that network, a news report. The point is you still need a receipt. You can think whatever you want about the people in the story, who you think murdered a person, unalived them, whatever. You still got to have proof. So now, with the Kansas women, you all can ride that donkey ride into hell that the grandmother did it. Okay, she's been arrested now. You still got to ask yourself, who else is involved and where are the women? Do the local authority and the Federal Bureau of Investigation have an idea where the women are, and they just haven't released that information? I don't know. That's my commentary, everybody. Thank you for joining me. You've been listening to the Vault XL. Have a wonderful week.